All right, Farm 200, assignment week 4, day 2. So it's going to cover SIG codes and math. So review SIG codes 1, 2, 3, math 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first one are deciphering. Nice and easy questions, right? All right, IVP, what is the verb? No, it's not piggyback, it's push. Push, so it's going to be inject. SIGs?
Yeah.
Lowercase? All lowercase?
Yeah.
Okay. So, inject 10 mLs, intravenous push. Is it every 8 hours or over 8 hours? Every 8 hours. So make sure you find the correct one. So P is for push, not piggyback. So that one would have thrown you off. Number 2, drops to the ears. What's the verb? Instill. So we're going to instill 2 to 3 drops into each ear. How many times a day?
Twice.
2 times a day.
Until gone.
Until gone. UG. Until gone. Instill 2 to 3 drops into each ear 2 times a day till gone. Alright. Number 3, sub Q. What is the verb? Inject. Inject. Very good. So we're going to inject 75 units under the skin. How often? 3 times a day. Before or after meals? Before meals, as needed. Inject 75 units under the skin 3 times a day before meals as needed. Did you guys get paranoid from the last assignment?
Oh, the no bell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, good. Pay attention. Minute details. Detail oriented. Suppositories, vaginally. What's the verb? Unwrap and insert. Let's see if this one is correct. Unwrap and insert 1 suppository vaginally every 12 hours for 10 days. Yeah, okay, that one looks good. Not too bad there. Last of the deciphering. SL is place. Very good. Place 1 to 2 tablets. How? Under the tongue as needed for chest pain. Not cancer pain. Chest pain. For chest pain. Alright, now let's get into the math. So take out your calculators. EDS. So EDS, as you guys recall, you take the amount dispensed and you divide it by the maximum they use per day. Do you round up or down? Round down. Alright, number 6. LX. What is LX? How many is LX? 60, right? So we got 50 plus 10, so that's 60. Now, how many do they use in a day? What's more, 1 or 2? 2. What's going to give them more doses? Every 6 or every 8?
6.
Every 6 is going to give them 4 doses. So I can take 2 4 times for a total of 8 in a day. 60 divided by 8, round down. Yeah, just 7 days supply. All right, creams and ointments. So we're going to assume we use 1 gram per dose. So that's just for us in class to make it easier. So we have to change ounces into grams. So 1.5 ounces is about how many grams?
45.
Yep, about 45. So the same as mLs and grams for us in this class. All right, based on the SIG, applied to the affected area 2 to 3 times a day. How many grams would they use in a day? 1 gram per dose. Yeah, so 2 to 3. So if they use the maximum 3 doses, it's about 3 grams. For an EDS of 15. Eyes and ears. So these are drops. Our estimation is 20 drops per ml. So do not get confused with micro drip. What's the conversion factor for micro drip? 60, right? 60. And that's for flow rate, drip rate. This is for eyes and ears, eye drops and ear drops. So if I have 15 mLs, how many drops is that? At 20 drops per ml, I got 15 mLs worth here. How much? Yeah, 300 drops. All right, so now we got to figure out how many drops they use in a day. So how many drops per dose? How many eyes? How many times? Q? Q is 4. Oh, how many times? So it's gonna be 3 drops times 2 eyes times 4 times a day, for a total of how many in a day? 24 in a day. Yeah. So take 300 divided by 24 and round down to the nearest days. Yep. So just down to 12 days. How many mLs is in 1 quart? Dun dun dun. 960. Pint is 480. Quart's the bigger one. 960. All right. So just get those committed to memory. You'll use them again in subsequent courses. How many mLs do they use in an entire day? 2 tablespoons twice a day. So that is 30 mLs twice for a total of 60 mLs in a day. Round down. Yeah, it's about 60. So you'll see EDS questions again on the final. So just refer back to this assignment if you have any questions. All right, I got 2 vials, but how many units is that? 2 vials, how many units is it? Insulin vials, yeah. So every vial is 1,000 units. So 2 vials is 2,000 units. Now we got to figure out how many units they use in a day. Inject 75 units under the skin 3 times a day after meals as needed. So 75 3 times for a total of 225. So 2,000 divided by 225, and then just round down to the nearest days. Yep. So about 8 days. EDS, very important. Triggers your reorder point. Finding grams. So mLs times percentage will give you grams. So number 11, let's just plug that in. How many mLs do we have? Just 50 mLs. Yeah. And just use your percent button if you have it. 50 times 30%, that's a total of, yep, 15 grams. Ounces, oh my goodness, how many grams is in, how many mLs is in 4 ounces, 9 ounces? So that is 30, right? 30 mLs per ounce, so 9 times 30 is 270 mLs. And then our percentage is 40%. So what is 40% of 270? So about 108, that's about right. 13, we want percentage now, so we gotta go backwards, right? So units are the same, we're gonna stay with grams and mLs to make our fraction, and then we will multiply by 100 to get the percentage. So it's just plug and chug. In this case we got 13, we got 60 grams. The mLs is 500, half a liter. Don't forget to multiply by 100 to get your percentage. Yep. So that should be about 12%. Number 14, 240. So 240 grams. Don't be scared. 2 quarts. Well, I know 1 quart is 960. So 2 is 1920. And then multiply by 100 to get your percentage. 240 divided by 1920 times 100. Alright, moving right along. We're almost done with the math portion. I'll give you guys the rest of the period to work on the multiple choice questions and matching. Alright, 15. We are looking for drip rate. So to get drip rate, we start with the flow rate. 4 liters is 4,000 mLs, and the time around the clock is 24 hours. The first step is to divide by 60 minutes, and the second step is to multiply by the drops. In this case, we are using 10 GTTs. You're done. So you got about 28. Yep, 4,000 divided by 24 divided by 60 times 10. All right, 16, micro drip tubing. What do we know about micro drip tubing? If you find the flow rate, it is the same as the drip rate, right? So 30 minutes is how many hours? Half an hour. So 50 divided by 0.5 is 100. So 100 mLs per hour using micro drip tubing is the same as 100 drops per minute. So you just have to find the flow rate anytime you're using micro drip tubing. Weight dependent dosing. So we have to do what? 110 lbs divided by 2.2 yields 50. So 50 kgs. And we are gonna, the order calls for 5 milligrams. So that's 250 milligrams in a day, but we're not gonna give it to them all at once, right? We gotta give it to them in 2 doses, so we'll divide by the 2 doses. So they need 125 milligrams per dose. And the last step is just an order and supply problem. So our order is 125, our supply is 10 milligrams. We are done. So you got 12 and a half. Yep. So weight into kgs. Once you get that answer, multiply by the order. That'll be your daily amount. And then if you need to, divide by doses to get your per dose amount. And then that amount you're going to use as your order over supply. And you're done. That's it. 12.5. So we already got kilos. Did you guys see that? So we're already in kilos. We do not have to convert. So step A, done for us. So all we have to do is multiply by the amount of drug per kilogram. So that's a big number. But that's the daily amount. We need to divide that. Yep, 3 doses. So that comes out to about 513 milligrams. And our supply is 2%. So 2% for us is how many grams per 100 mLs? 2 grams per 100 mLs. So anytime you have a percentage, it's that number of grams over 100 mLs, hence percent. So 213 is our order. Our supply is 2,000 milligrams per 100 mLs. That's how we want to use the percentage. So let me punch this in for you guys so you don't get any rounding errors. Alright, calculator. Are you alive? There you go. Alright, so let's see here. So we got 154 times 10 divided by 3 divided by 2,000 times 100. So they want it to the nearest 0.1. So 25.7. That's what you want to enter. 25.7. Type 1 or type 2? Type 1. Right. There's going to be no more type 2 from this point out. So your order is 10. Your supply is 70 and 0. So the difference diagonally here is 60. The difference diagonally here is 10. How many total parts do we have? 10 plus 60 is 70. And then our final step is to multiply by the volume. In this case, 1750 mLs. The water, so we want the bottom one. Round to the nearest ml. Yeah, should be most of it. So you got about 15 something?
1499.99.
Okay, yeah, so about 1500. Yeah, 1500. So 1,500. Alright, here's the last one of the math. And then I'll give you guys the rest of the class period to answer the chapter questions. Alright, we got 32 here. We got 70 and 5. The difference here is 38. The difference here is 27? Yeah, 27, 28, 29, 30, yeah. Alright. Total parts is 65. And the final volume is 2,500. Do we want the top number or the bottom number? So they asked for D5W, so yeah, they want this one. 38 divided by 65 times 2,500.